Alright, the basic of mode development basics. Mode development has a very standard coordinate system. It's very essential that you guys understand how to draw assets onto the screen. Most mobile development platforms are based off of a grid system using X and Y. So a positive X would go out and a positive Y would go up a certain amount, and vice versa for negative values. The mobile grid system is much different. A positive Y is actually going down. For instance, if the screen size is 320 by 480 pixel, the center of the screen would be drawn at 160 by 240, as shown in the picture to the left. Some of the basic design logics is the two biggest logic that we have is event-driven and cycle-driven. Event-driven is very simple. It's efficient. You have a button does X, or X and Y, or X, Y, and Z. Very little code to implement. It's usually built into the SDK. Cycle-driven is you divide your code into different states, and we create a state machine. There's the on start, on update, on play, on pause, and on resume. There's a lot of code to implement, and it's not usually built into the SDK. Alright, some pros and cons about event-driven. Event-driven applications are usually basic, non-game application that does not require object collision or constant detection. Each object can have their own listener. You have a button that does X and Y. When Y is triggered, you could do A and B or C. It's pretty much like an if-else or an and statement. The biggest problem with it is you can't have constant control. You can't record data off of it constantly per frame. You can only record data when an event is triggered. So there's really no automaton. Cycle-driven. Most video game nowadays are cycle-based. They have each state where the game is divided into portions. It's extremely efficient under stress because whatever you're not using, it's not part of the runtime, so it's not taking up RAM, and you clean it up when you're not using it. Only use what you need. And scenes, each individual level could be revisited very easily. You could say level 1, once level 1 is done, go back to the main menu, starts the game, and I'll call level 2 instead. Very efficient. The biggest problem about a cycle-driven state machine is that it has a very steep learning curve. It takes a lot of practice to master. Each state needs to be handled correctly or they're going to crash each other. Usually the best build to follow is the hybrid